So I decided to take a break from cleaning and come record Jada's birth story, because I did have a successful VBAC with her. Her due date was April 18th, but I had her on March 28th. Around 34 weeks, I started to go into preterm labor, and I also was developing preeclampsia. So I was going to give birth to her around, take my hair down, the 37 week mark anyway. So she came around the same time. I was either going to be told I had to have a C-section because my preeclampsia was getting pretty bad. I was going back and forth to the hospital, and I also went to preterm labor, like I said. Just a video warning, I do show my mucus plug and a short clip of my actual birth. My hoo-ha is covered as much as it can be, but for viewer discretion, I put in a warning right here. So at 34 weeks, I started going to preterm labor. I got 2 shots to mature her lungs and another shot to slow the contractions down to hope that would stop labor. I was sent home and the shots did work. The contractions slowed down. They did not completely stop. So for 3 weeks, I was having really bad contractions. My doctors were monitoring me because of the contractions and the preeclampsia. So they were okay. Everything was okay. As long as she was in distress, my body wasn't in any major distress at the time. They wanted me to stay pregnant up until 37 weeks, where we would decide if I should have a C-section or continue the pregnancy and let her come on her own. Well, at 36 weeks and a few days, I started having really bad contractions. They were picking back up again, and so I spent the rest of that day going to see family members. This is right before the COVID became a big thing, and everyone was on quarantine. So I went to visit everybody. I knew that it was going to get bad, or I was giving birth pretty soon, so I wouldn't be out and about seeing everybody. I went to the hospital. Oh, sorry. So the next day I got up. I couldn't even sleep that night. I could not sleep. I was in so much pain. I just packed my son's bag, packed me and my boyfriend's bag, packed the baby bag, and just had everything set out just in case I did go into labor. I was just told that the day before that he would be able to have one support person throughout the whole entire stay of me staying at the hospital. So I knew that if my boyfriend did come, he would either stay or come and leave, because we do have a son together. So the next day, I'm just up. I have too much energy. I'm cleaning the house. I am getting everybody ready. I'm going back and forth to the store, but I'm in so much pain, but I keep pushing through. It's like the more I moved, the less I felt. So when I sat down, it felt like the pressure and the pain was just way too much to bear. So I just kept moving the whole day. I just kept moving. I was 36 weeks and 6 days that day. I'm just walking and walking and walking. Me and my boyfriend had talked about me taking the Midwives Brew to help everything start, like jump start, and just keep moving, keep progressing. Because I wasn't progressing because of the preeclampsia and because of the contractions. I knew that eventually she wasn't going to be able to tolerate this anymore. And she was either going to come out or become so stressed out that I would have to have a C-section. And I did not want another C-section. So I finally got home and settled. My boyfriend cooked us dinner, and it's his birthday, mind you. I'm so sorry. It's his birthday. It's March 27th. It's his birthday, and he's taking care of me and trying to just bear with me until I decide to go to the hospital. But these contractions are kicking my behind, and I need an epidural. So I'm gonna go to the hospital. But before I went, I conquered, I don't know how the word is, but I threw together the ingredients of the Midwives Brew. Did not blend it up. I just stirred it with a spoon and tried to chug as much of it as I could. I could not get all of it down. It was so horrible. It was so bad. It was so bad. It felt like I was drinking throw up. It was so bad. So I chugged as much as I could before I went to the hospital. The hospital like 6 minutes from my house. So I drove there, listened to Nucky If You Buck on repeat until I got to the entrance, and I was able to go up to labor and delivery. I would say about from the time I got to the hospital to the time I checked my cervix, it was about 30 minutes. Probably less than that, but 30 minutes. They did some blood work. No, they did some urine, and they wanted to see if they could put an IV in my arm because I did have really bad, what is it called? I had food poisoning. I had really bad food poisoning leading up to me having all these really bad contractions as well. So they wanted to make sure that I wasn't dehydrated, because the day before they did blood work at my doctor's appointment to make sure I wasn't dehydrated, and I wasn't. But they wanted to rerun the test at the hospital just to make sure that dehydration wasn't causing me to have these contractions. So they do all that. I go to the bathroom, my mucus plug comes out. It's like, I'm gonna insert a picture about right here. So you can see it. But it came out, and with that, I just started to feel horrible contractions even more. Like, I sat down, I could just feel horrible contractions. When they came in to check on me before they checked my cervix, they asked me, like, hey, do you need anything? I said, yes, I need an epidural. Like, right now. Like, I need an epidural so bad. I was in tears. I was crying. They told me once I got into the room, because I was going to be admitted, because I had a C-section prior to this birth, that I needed to be admitted and to be closely monitored to make sure I had a successful VBAC, which I didn't want. So, if I can get epidural. So I got to the room, they settled me in. I called my boyfriend, told him everything that was happening, and I told him we had a long time to go. Just go have fun for his birthday, spend time with our son, because I knew that the adjustment of him being at the hospital with me and him being with his grandmother was going to be a lot on my son. So I just labored with the epidural for a few hours until he got there. He got there around, I don't know what time he got there, honestly, but I was about 5 centimeters when he got there. And everything was moving so quickly. I don't know if it was from the Midwives Brew or if it was just labor by itself, because I was in labor a long time before I took the Midwives Brew. But the contractions were horrible. Even with the epidural, I could still feel them, and they were coming back to back. So I was strep B positive, so they gave me antibiotics. I didn't really feel that. I was so tired and exhausted from all the pain. I just tried to sleep. So I slept into my water break. I could feel my water breaking. It felt like you must like push to go to the like bathroom. Not even that hard, but that's what it felt like. But it was involuntary, and I just felt the water just trickling down, and I could feel my butt being in a big puddle of water. They checked me. My water did break, and they said about 7 or 8 centimeters. I was 7, close to 8 centimeters at the time. So I was jumping pretty quickly. I got to the hospital around 8 p.m. I had her 12-ish the next morning. So going into the afternoon. Well, 12 in the afternoon. The doctor I had was not my doctor or doctor that was in that practice. She was from another practice, and we talked for a second, and I told her I did have a C-section, and I really, really wanted a VBAC if I could, at all possibly, like, try everything, because I already did not want another C-section. And she agreed, like, hey, you look like a great candidate to have a VBAC. I'm gonna do my best, you do your best, and that's all we can hope for. I was on board with that. I honestly didn't know that once you are dilated, your baby starts to come down the birth canal and then out the vagina. I knew that, but I still didn't know that, if that makes sense. Like, when I'm in that moment, I'm just like, okay, let's just get her out, get it out. And my epidural wore off. So, yeah, I felt everything but my left leg. I felt everything. It was so painful. And I think that was contributed to the Midwives Brew, because I think it just took full force. It was like, hey, I'm here, I'm helping you, you wanted this, remember? And honestly, I'm not mad at it, because I stalled at 8 centimeters, and for about 3 hours I was stalled. And the doctor came in and talked to me. He was like, hey, you know, making progress. You're having these contractions that are on top of each other. We're monitoring your baby very closely to make sure she does not become overly stressed by these constant contractions. But how it's looking, we need this to move on in the next few hours. So she gave me an hour to see if I would change any, and within that hour I jumped from a 8 to a 10. And she said, let's push, because you're moving pretty quickly and the contractions are still so bad. Let's try to push her down into the birth canal and keep it moving, because you need to keep moving. Oh my God. Like, so we figured out she was sunny side up. So I mean, her face was looking up. Baby's supposed to be looking down to come out and out. But she was looking up, and she had no chances of turning by herself. So the doctor went in there and manually twisted her around. It was excruciating. It felt like she was taking my organs and just rearranging them and then snatching them, like, you know how you do the tablecloth, like, and you snatch it and everything's still on the table? It felt like she was doing that to my insides. Come here, baby. Oh, it's okay. Say hi. Say hi. Woo. So they went in there. She went in there and she turned her. And while I was pushing, Miss Jada here decided to flip herself right back on around. She said, I can push this way and make progress, or might not make progress, or she can manually flip her again. I decided to let her flip herself because it was so painful. I couldn't imagine her doing it again. So I pushed for about 20 minutes with her sunny side up, and I wasn't getting anywhere. So I decided to let the doctor go in there and flip her around again, because we could stay this way I couldn't do it any longer. I needed some relief of her coming out. Are you hungry, Miss Lady? Hi. So I needed some relief. So I decided to let her go ahead and flip her again. She flipped her, and it started progressing really quickly. It felt like when she flipped her body just started to come out. Then she got stuck again, like right at the opening of the vagina. She got stuck, and I don't know what was going on, but I needed her out, and I started to beg and plead, and I couldn't even push no more. I couldn't push anymore because I was tired and in so much pain. Like, I just wanted it to end. I wanted her out, and I wanted it to end, like, badly. So the doctor told me she can help me with a vacuum. And I'm like, yeah, let's get that. Let's use whatever we need to use to get the baby out. Because I'm so tired. I was so tired. I was ready to give up. Like, the lights were so bright, and I felt like I was just in center stage in so much pain, and I needed some relief. So I will insert
a moment. Just relax for a moment.
Oh, I can't.
You will see in a second. Look. Ah! Look, there's your baby. She's already mad.
Yeah, she is.
You did it.
You're done. So
Sad.
Get in there.
It's hard to go through the birthing process, probably.
How quickly it went and how painful it was due to the Midwives Brew. And I'm not mad at it, because without it, I really think that I would have been getting a C-section, or been having a C-section, because my body just was stalling. The contractions were so bad, but nothing was happening, and I felt like I was going to crumble and break from those few weeks of contractions. And then the labor, I couldn't have done it by myself. I don't think I would have been able to. And I'm so happy that I actually used it. Well, I'm going to go edit this and I'll post it Have a great day.